Suppressors and silencers are supposed to keep you off the radar and make you harder to hear coming, but ironically, some suppressors throughout COD history have actually sounded really awesome, to the point that their firing sounds became iconic to the franchise. What is up, guys? Non-AI Jimmy. Today we're going to be checking out 20 of the best sounding suppressed guns in COD history. This is a very popular topic. It was suggested by a viewer named Siler Downs-V5E. Now, an AI YouTuber would never be able to fulfill viewer requests like this. It's personal. Just remember the next time you're wondering if I'm AI or not. So you let me know in the comments what you think the best sounding suppressed gun in COD history is. Drop a like and make sure you guys suggest topics you want in the comments, as you always do, because I read every single comment and I'll absolutely see them. In every video I put up, I get a comment or two. Hey, I watched you when I was a kid and now I'm an adult, and you're kind of just my friend with the voice over YouTube. I really appreciate you guys. I do. I went into a Lane's Chicken Tenders the other day, and the manager came out and recognized my voice when I was ordering, and he said, "Are you Chaos?" I said, "Yeah." You recognize the voice? He said, "Yeah, I literally have been watching you since I was like 13 years old." This was a grown man with a family managing a restaurant. So I really, really appreciate you guys. Do me a favor. Let's do something special with this one. Let's try to hit 2,000 likes. Let's try to go. Format's easy. I'm going to talk about the gun. I'm going to describe it, and then I'm going to play the sound for you. At number 20, the Spaz 12 in Black Ops. Man, I wish we could go back. The Spaz 12 was semi-auto in the original Black Ops, as opposed to the more iconic pump-action version that was in the classic Modern Warfare 2. Both were just legends. In terms of damage performance, it was pretty good. Solid following, but if you threw a suppressor on it, you instantly started feeling like a secret agent in the game. The suppressed Spaz in BO1 sounded like something right out of a James Bond movie, and even though the range nerf was pretty brutal, it's almost worth using just for the sound effects. Listen.
Napalm strike awaiting orders.
At number 19, the ACR in Modern Warfare 2 2009. Now, a lot of people will still tell you this was the best AR in COD history. I'm not going to go that far. I can see why it's developed its following back in the day and why it's iconic. Yes, it was a laser beam, and while some people were running it with an optic, well, others, they used the suppressor on it. This was before you could use 10 attachments, and they used that to silently melt people from across the map. Not the most explosive option in a game like Modern Warfare 2. Man, it was silky smooth sounding. I thought it was only fitting at number 18 to go with the ACR 6.8 in Modern Warfare 3 2011. It got a fat buff in Modern Warfare 3 to the point I think it was undeniably the best gun in the game. The fire rate was slower, yes, but it was now a 2 to 3 shot kill and it had 0 recoil. And just like the original Modern Warfare 2 version, the Modern Warfare 3 ACR had an awesome firing sound when you threw the suppressor on it, which I think was the most popular way to run this gun. At number 17, the DM56 in Modern Warfare 3 2023. I don't think I've ever mentioned this gun on a video. It's a left field pick, but when I was looking through the COD community's Reddit threads and YouTube videos, yes, we do research for these videos. I know it's crazy to think. I saw a decent number of people bring up how awesome this gun sounds with a suppressor. You know what? I agree. A lot of guns, unfortunately, sound the same with suppressors in modern COD games, but the DM56, it sounds really unique. Had to give it a little shout here. And if you're one of the many people still playing MW3 2023, go throw the suppressed DM56 on your class, turn the volume up a bit, won't regret it. At number 16, the MP5 in COD 4. I mean, COD 4 had some crunchy sound effects. That's what made it so immersive. Even though a lot of the guns didn't sound very realistic, they didn't sound high quality, give them a break, it was 2007, there were some gun sounds that became iconic anyways. The suppressed MP5 in the game will always stick out to me, not only because of its appearance in the crew expendable mission of the campaign, but also because of just how awesome it was in multiplayer, even if the AK-74U was the better all-around SMG. Take a listen.
Helicopter support standing by. We've taken the lead!
At number 15, the P90 in Modern Warfare Remastered. Raven Software did an amazing job updating COD 4's visuals and sound effects to make them sound more modern, but they kept that original vibe. That was important. The P90 sounded pretty awesome in the original. It was really good in MWR as well, but something about the suppressed version in the remaster, chef's kiss. Maybe it was the high fire rate, maybe it was the bouncy gun model, but the suppressed P90 in MWR is one of the coolest sounding guns in the entire game. Listen and tell me I'm wrong.
Charlie! We're losing C! Securing Charlie!
At number 14, the Remington 870 in Black Ops 2. Probably weren't expecting this gun here because hardly anybody actually used it with a suppressor. But if you somehow found yourself using a silenced Remington for some reason back in the golden age of COD, you probably fell in love with the firing sound, at least like I did. The suppressed Remington, it cracks through your speakers every time you pull the trigger. And even if it gave you a pretty noticeable range penalty, the sound effect's worth it. It was worth it.
Okay, come on, let's go! Reloading. Go. Okay, come on, let's go! Reloading. Go.
At number 13 today, the Grease Gun in COD World War II. I may have really hated this game when it came out, but if there's one thing I remember from day one, it's that the Grease Gun sounded awesome with a suppressor on it. It was the starting SMG in the game, and if you were running it with the SMG-focused division, you would get a little suppressor that you would screw on the end of the barrel in a couple seconds, which isn't how suppressors work at all, but whatever, it's a video game. And the suppressed Grease Gun sounded thick. That's the best thing I can say. Thick. Like the bullets were running a marathon to get to their target. That's an awesome description. You would almost think that AI came up with that one, right? The game sucked. The sound design was pretty good.
Bombs ready. Revised explosives ready.
At number 12 today, the MP7 in Modern Warfare 3 2011. If you weren't running the MP7 with a suppressor in the game, you were playing the game wrong. This thing was by far the most popular SMG choice in the game because on one hand, the MP7 was totally overpowered. On the other hand, it was just so fun to use. It was silky smooth, super versatile. Firing sound was so epic with the suppressor. The unsuppressed version was pretty good. But the suppressed MP7 is one of the most nostalgic sounds in COD history for me. And I know I'm not going to be alone in this one. Just sit back and let it grace your ears. Your ears, your earlobes, your eardrums, your ear hole. At number 11 today is the VMP in Black Ops 3. It was one of the most iconic weapons from BO3, even if its reputation was kind of destroyed by the BO4 remake. Suppress sound? Yep, awesome. Sounded really bouncy, paired perfectly with the sci-fi setting of the game, and weirdly enough, I think the VMP actually sounded louder with the suppressor attached than without. Maybe it's just me. It's a pretty quiet gun all around for some reason. At number 10, the UMP-45 in Modern Warfare 2 2009. This is one of the most busted SMGs in COD history. Could literally two-shot you from across the map if you were using stopping power and you aimed high, which is absurd. We did a video not too long ago talking about the fastest killing guns in COD history, and the UMP, it belongs on the list because despite the low fire rate, that damage was ridiculous. And of course, the suppressor, it was a vital part of the formula here. You really felt like you were firing two-shot kill bullets with every pull of the trigger. Now, despite it being an SMG and despite it being suppressed, the firing sound was actually kind of thunderous.
We've lost the lead.
At number 9, here we go. The Honey Badger and Ghost. I believe this was the first gun in COD history to have a suppressor built into the gun. Fact check me on that. Definitely had a great sound effect to seal the deal and a reload. This thing was smooth all the way around. The Honey Badger had this sweet pitter-patter sound effect, paired perfectly with the sound of Ghost hit markers and kill effects. COD Ghost didn't do very many things right, but on the design of the Honey Badger, they need some love. I mean, this was a fan favorite gun despite all the hate the game got as a whole from day one. At number 8 today, and I have a personal attachment to this gun. I have a lot of hours playtime on this gun, the M27 in Black Ops 2. This is one of the smoothest rifles in COD history. Deserved a smooth sound effect, and it got it. Now, by default, the M27's firing sound was pretty good, pretty sweet. Featured a relatively high-pitched crack every time a bullet came out, but if you slapped a suppressor on your class, you got one of the coolest, sharpest firing sounds ever for a stealthy gun. And when you comboed that with the lack of recoil and smooth as butter handling, you had a piece of COD history in your hands and the reload. At number 7, the Spectre in Black Ops. Probably the only time I will talk good about the Spectre in a positive light, because this is one of the worst guns in the original Black Ops, which is a game that had some really bad guns, especially SMGs. But if there's one thing I can give the Spectre credit for, it sounded really good with a suppressor. I don't know why you'd ever want to use the gun that way, because it already sucked. Came with a little range penalty on top of it, and it was not a gun where you wanted to miss any of your potential damage output, but whatever. The suppressor sounded great. At number 6 today, the AUG in Black Ops. I've said it before, I'll say it again, and probably again and again. The gun sounds like you're in a secret mission behind enemy lines. The AUG had one of the fastest fire rates in the game. The suppressed sound effect was deep. It was like a deep sound effect blasting through your headphones at over 900 rounds per minute. There's few things that can make you feel as cool as that. The AUG wasn't as good as the FAMAS, we know that. But if you were throwing suppressors on 2 rifles, the AUG definitely had the coolness advantage.
Plane standing by.
Now we arrive at the top 5. The AK-12 in Advanced Warfare. This was the first variant I pulled. I got the RIP, the RIP AK-12, and I used that thing into the dirt. It's one of my favorite guns from Advanced Warfare. It's known for the super low recoil and the generous damage that made it fantastic for mid and long range combat. The RIP variant, it's one of the rarest in the game. It would make the gun a lot more consistent. One of the most popular ways to run the game was the suppressor. Not only was the damage super consistent, so there was no reason not to throw the suppressor on it, but also because this gun sounded so smooth when it was equipped. The laser beam accuracy plus the consistent damage made it really satisfying. And I went to Sledgehammer Studios ahead of time to preview and play Advanced Warfare, and we got to go in the sound effects booth and see what actually went into all the sound effects. And I'm telling you right now, Sledgehammer absolutely cooked.
Enemy has me. Alpha secure.
At number 4, the AK-47 in Black Ops. It's iconic. It's one of the fastest firing AKs in COD history. It's not that it's all that quick in terms of raw fire rate, but what made the Black Ops 1 AK so loved was the recoil pattern. Kicked perfectly straight up and down. You just aim center mass and ride the recoil to the enemy's head for an easy, quick kill. And if you threw a suppressor on it, you got one of the nicest and sharpest firing sounds in COD history. Treyarch was not messing around with the sound design in this game. Just go back in time with me. Listen.
Friendly spy plane inbound. Dogs waiting for your mark.
At number 3, the G3 in Modern Warfare Remastered. Another gun where Raven Software went above and beyond with the sound effect update here. The G3, semi-auto rifle. I always thought it was super slept on. Sure, semi-auto, but it also had no fire rate cap, no recoil, and it was a 2-shot kill. If you threw a suppressor on it, you sound like a spy on the most top secret mission of his entire life. Picking people off one bullet at a time with a suppressed G3, that was satisfying. At number 2 today is the AN-94 in Black Ops 2. Now, the AN-94 and the M27 have a nearly identical suppressed firing sound, but the main difference is the fire rate. The AN-94's hyperburst and the slight change in the pitch, it made it different. The M27 sounded silent and smooth. The AN-94 sounds silent and strong, I guess, if that makes any sense. The M27 sounds like a consistent barrage of stealthy bullets. The AN-94 sounds like somebody's about to rip you in half silently. I love it.
Stitched him up.
And at number 1 today, the Galil in Black Ops. Yup, if you knew me, you probably already guessed. How could I not? The suppressed Galil had that awesome pitter-patter sound effect. It was perfect for the handling and the damage profile. There is no reason to leave the suppressor off this gun in a game, too, because the way the Galil's effective range worked, there was virtually no downside to it in terms of time to kill. The Galil is awesome. The suppressed Galil, even more awesome. If you ask me, this is the best sounded suppressed gun in COD history. If you agree, let me know. If you have some other options we should put on here, let me know as well. I really appreciate you guys.
5 lane ready for deployment.